Hey everybody, and welcome back to Crypto Kings. It's Matt, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about exactly what Shiba Inu has been doing here over the past couple of days. I know this is a very important topic, and I won't want to leave you guys in the dust here, so let's get right into it. If you guys are new, make sure to drop a like, subscribe for more daily SHIB vids, and let's get right into it, folks. So, if you guys have not already seen what we are essentially working with here, over the past few days here in the market, Shiba Inu has not been performing ultimately all that hot. But you guys have to remember the type of market that we are in right now is not particularly special. It is extremely stagnant compared to what crypto will normally be doing in a situation like this. And with a lot of the big players out there, unfortunately, as you guys can see, they are not doing all that well here on the week. Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're all down around 4 or 5%, which is definitely bad for a lot of other ERC20 tokens like Shiba Inu. So SHIB definitely does have a bit of a way to go here in order to reclaim the levels of support that we were seeing just a couple of weeks ago, because right now we are down over 15.5% on the week for SHIB, which, as I know a lot of people can probably agree, is a little bit concerning. But again, you guys have to remember the causes of something like this, and of course the main cause being Bitcoin's lack of stellar performance. And again, I definitely don't think that is particularly tragic compared to a lot of the other reasons why a coin might drop. So when we take a look at our stats on the day, again, down around 0.5% on the day here with a market cap a little over $17 billion. Volume wise here, around really $500 million over the past 24 hours, down 25% more. This is some of the lowest volume we have seen in a very long time. If you look through the list on the days here in this column here, there is basically no previous example of volume like this being so extremely low. I mean, even through, November, before we even had a lot of this, sort of explosion here, there was no day in which we saw such little volume like this. So that definitely is a little, sort of concerning in the sense that people are not quite as interested in buying and selling right now. But again, it's good in a sense that we are not seeing an excess of volatile sell volume. So that is helping us a little bit in that instance. When we take a look at the graph, there is a lot to sort of dissect here. But before I do, guys, make sure to check out Webull. Top of the link down below in the description. If you guys like to get started trading stocks, crypto, all that good stuff, including SHIB, you guys can do that with Webull at the top of the link down below in the description. Very easy to do, and I do really enjoy using the platform, so definitely do make sure to check it out. Top of the link down below. Thank you, guys. All right, so when we take a look at our graph here, there were a couple of things I was looking for. The main thing that I was hoping to see with this graph and the relative strength index here was the RSI Divergence. So the RSI Divergence is a typical sort of indicator here that is very important. And when we sort of highlight it, what essentially this is showing is in a bullish scenario, you have the price of an asset going down and the RSI going up, and then the same thing with the price going up on the regular price of the asset, the RSI is going down. So these are two situations in which you would want to buy right before you see some level of bullish movement. And then for the bearish moves here, of course, you have the price of the asset going up and the RSI going down, and then same thing, you would have the price going down on the asset and the RSI going up. So again, the major thing that is changing this behavior here is figuring out the way in which the price is moving along these sort of lines here. This would be, sets of candles on a graph like this. But essentially, when you look at the bullish, it is coming from a higher position. It's headed down, then it heads back up, then it heads back down, and right as it heads back down like that, ideally you would want to pick some up. Now with the bearish moves, same thing. You're headed up, headed down a little bit, then headed up even more, and that is what creates what you would know as an ascending wedge. So it kind of makes sense when you tie it all together. When there's any kind of ascending wedge like this, something along these lines, there's almost always going to be a level of bearish behavior. So if you had something like this, typically it would head downwards. So that's always good to know. Now, when looking at this graph, do we see anything like that here? Well, there is the potential for some kind of RSI related movement. Here we have a little bit coming down. And if I stretch it out, it makes it a little nicer. We have a little bit coming down here. So we have some coming from the 16th to the 17th. So that could be our first little set of candles here. Then ideally we'd want it to head up a little bit. So it does. Okay, and then we go again, same thing, headed down a little bit more. But here's where things get a little unclear. So ideally, if we saw something like this where we headed down, up a little bit, down a little bit, you would buy around here and it would head up. That is the goal for something like this. And that is, of course, a typical example of a falling wedge. So if you saw something like a falling wedge, which is, of course, not ideal in every scenario, but definitely does lead to some good bullish movement when it, need be. If you saw something like this, you would ideally wait and it would have some level of breakout. And unfortunately, with Shiba Inu right now, there's just not enough movement from the past few days to really guarantee that happens. But again, when we zoom out and look at the bigger picture, and I know this is something a lot of people like to do as well, when we zoom out and look at the bigger picture, yeah, I mean, this entire friggin' thing is a falling wedge, man, when we look at the bigger picture, and that's ultimately, I think, what matters. And I've talked about this in a lot of videos in the past, but ultimately, having the entire, momentum of Shiba Inu from October until now being basically just one big falling wedge definitely does help us out a little bit. But again, it does sort of make it tough when trying to find specifics, in terms of short-term movements here, because nothing really wants to fit because of how stagnant we have been. The stagnation over the past few days has made it very hard to really look at this and analyze the price in any meaningful way from, say, the 17th up until now, because there's really just not much going on. I mean, between Bitcoin and Ethereum, everything over the past few days is pretty lackluster, and that has made Shiba Inu a lot tougher to analyze and a lot tougher to sort of try to find a spot to buy in. But if I were you, I would look at this and try to find a good way to dollar cost average in, meaning every week or day or whatever, you set a limit buy at a certain point, at a certain price, let's say 31, and from there you try to, every time it hits 31, snag some more. You could sell some, it hits 35, same thing, snag some more. Dollar cost averaging is probably the best thing you can do if you're trying to sort of get into this. Now, when we check some other indicators here, of course, you guys know I love to check the Fibonacci Retracement, one of my favorites. So it's going to show us the potential lines of support and resistance here. So we have the top here right around 32 and the bottom right around 31. So not an awful lot of movement here, man. Very, very little movement, to be honest with you. And what it's basically showing is that we are essentially headed up to try to use this 50% line as a potential line of support here. And then we fall down and we are not able to be saved by the 23.6% line. And we essentially are falling back down to the low, and that's basically it, man. The Fibonacci retracement is not doing an awful lot here. It's safe to say that the next future candles will be above 31-ish. But besides that, there's really not much more information that this is giving here. So with that being said, everybody, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have enjoyed the video. If you guys did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more daily Shiba Inu videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Matt. See you all in the next one. Peace.